Okay, good morning students. In previous class, under the anatomy of flowering plants, we discussed regarding the permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are of two types. One is simple permanent tissue, another one is complex permanent tissue. And in simple permanent tissue, we discussed regarding the different kinds of, in the sense, here in a simple permanent tissue, what is going to happen? The cells which are structurally and functionally similar kind, and in complex permanent tissue we are going to have the many different types of cells. And in a previous class we are discussed regarding the simple tissues. There are the three kinds of simple permanent tissues we were discussed in a previous class. First one is parenchyma, second one is collenchyma, and third one is sclerenchyma, and their structures and their functions. So in today's class we are going to start with the discussing complex tissue. Now here the complex tissue, it is going to perform its function as a unit, and that unit is consist of two kinds of what we are going to call that one as types of cells, and those work together. Two kinds of cells and those work together, and this unit of a complex tissue is having xylem and phloem. What? Xylem and phloem. In the sense, complex tissue is worked as a unit with different types of cells. What are those two cells? A complex tissue, it is made up of more than one type of a cell. This is complex tissue. It is made up of a complex tissue made up of more than one type of cells. More than one type of cells. More than one type of cells. These works together as a unit. In the sense, they work together as a unit, and that unit you are going to get xylem and phloem. In this unit you are going to get the xylem and phloem are the compositions of what we are going to call that one as a constitutes of the compositions of a complex tissue. In the sense, complex tissue is made up of more than one type of cells. These work together as a unit. Xylem and phloem constitute the complex tissue. Xylem and phloem constitute a complex tissue. Now we are going to start discussing regarding the xylem and phloem. So you come to know what is meant by complex tissue. Complex tissue, it is made up of more than one type of cells. These work together as a unit. More than one type of cells, and those all are work together in the sense different kinds of cells, but they are working together for performing a same function. Those are called as a complex tissue, and in complex tissue the xylem and phloem constitute the complex tissue. Now we are going to start discussing about the first xylem. What is xylem? Xylem is mainly worked as a water conducting tissue for water and minerals. It is conducting tissue for water and minerals. Conducting tissue for water and minerals from root to the stem and leaves. From roots to the stem and leaves. In the sense what? Conducting in the sense, the xylem, it is xylem functions as a water conducting conducting tissue in the sense the roots are going to absorb the water. Roots ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವೇನಂತೀರಿ ಮೂಲಗಳು ಅವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವಪ್ಪ ಅಂದಾಗ ನೀರನ್ನು ಹೀರ್ಕೋತಾವ. ಆ ನೀರು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಭಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಬರಾಜು ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ? ಝೈಲಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ. ಸರಬರಾಜು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ the water and minerals from roots and water and minerals na absorb ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾವು. ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಸರಬರಾಜು ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ? ಝೈಲಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ. that's what I told you. It is a conducting tissue for the water and minerals from root to the leaves. In the sense it is going to conduct in the sense it is going to supply the water and minerals which is absorbed by the roots for the different parts of the plants like stem and leaves. That is what this one side. And it also provides the mechanical strength. It also provides the mechanical strength. It also provides the mechanical strength. STRENGTH, mechanical strength. Okay, these are the two important functions of xylem. Xylem, it is act as a conducting tissue for a water and minerals from root to the stem, and leaves, and it also provides a mechanical strength. Now, this xylem, once again we are going to find this xylem. It is composed of four kinds. This xylem is made up of four kinds of elements. This is made up of four kinds of elements. What are those four kinds of elements? I used to write here. One is first tracheids. First one is a tracheids. Then second one is vessels. Fourth one is xylem fibers. Third one is xylem fibers. Fourth one is xylem parenchyma. I hope you understood what I told you now here. Xylem, it is a conducting tissue for a water and minerals from root to the stem and leaves. Then it also provides the mechanical strength. And the xylem is made up of four kinds of elements. One is tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, then xylem parenchyma. Now we are going to start discussing one by one what are the components of the xylem. So I am going to rub this. Complex tissue in the sense, complex tissue is made up of more than one type of cells. These work together as a unit. Xylem, okay, and xylem and phloem constitute the complex tissue. And now we are discussing about the xylem. Xylem, it is a conducting tissue for the water and minerals from roots to the stem and leaves. It gives the mechanical support to the mechanical strength to the plant. And the xylem, it is made up of four kinds of elements. One is tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma. Okay, now we are going to start discussing about xylem components. What are the xylem components I told you now? First one is tracheids. Second one is vessels. Fourth one is xylem fibers, and third one is xylem fibers. Fourth one is xylem parenchyma. Okay, now I am going to start discussing with this tracheids. Here I am going to draw the tracheids. You are going to study the tracheids in such a way. These are long, cylindrical, slender bodies with tapering ends. Right? Some you are going to find like this. These are what? Tracheids. These are tracheids. And if we are going to go for the vessels, these vessels are like this. These are the vessels. Are the vessels. Okay, tracheids, which are long slender structures. Tracheids are the long slender structures, and whatever I drawn here, another one diagram, that is the vessel. That is the vessel. Okay, or vessels. Now we are going to start discussing with first tracheids. What are these tracheids and what are the characters of these tracheids in the sense? The tracheids are elongated tube-like cells. Tracheids are elongated tube-like cells with thick and lignified walls. I told you, tracheids are what? Tracheids are the elongated or tube-like structure. Elongated or tube-like structures, elongated or a tube-like structures with thick lignified walls. Lignified with thick lignified walls and tapering with the both ends. Tapering at the okay, tapering and tapering ends. And tapering ends. And tapering ends. Right? Tapering ends. Tapering ends okay. Then what? These are the dead without protoplasm. Tracheids are dead without protoplasm. In the sense, protoplasm is absent in these what we are going to call that one as a tracheids. And the inner wall of their cell wall have a thickening is varies from one to the another. In a flowering plants, tracheids and vessels are the main water transporting elements. In flowering, in the sense angiosperms, in the flowering plants, tracheids and vessels are main water conducting tracheids are vessels are the main water conducting elements. In the sense, this is helpful in a water conducting. Next, we used to go for the vessels. Vessels are cylindrical. Vessels are what I told you there, cylindrical structures or tube-like structures made up of many cell membranes. Cylindrical or tube-like and made up of many vessel members, many vessel members. Understood? Okay. These are made up of many vessel members and which with lignified walls and a large central cavity. Members each with lignified walls and cavity. Here you are going to get the cavity. Understood? This is about the structure of vessels, large central cavity. The vessel cells are also divided by protoplasm. In the sense, here also protoplasm is absent. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಡಿವೋಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. DEVOID. Devoid in the sense absent. Devoid in the sense absent or it is not present. Okay. Lack ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯಬಹುದು. LACK lack ಅಂದ್ರೆ devoid ಬರ್ತದೆ. Okay, it is also devoid. DEVOID devoid of protoplasm. Vessel membranes are interconnected through the perforations. Their walls. The presence of vessel membrane is a character feature of angiosperms. The presence of vessels is the main character of angiosperms, in the sense flowering plants. And whatever I told you, there are many members. Okay, in the sense another vessel is going to join with each other. Okay, how they are going to join with each other? In the sense perforations on their walls. Here we are going to get like form of perforations. Perforation on their walls. In the sense, on a wall you are going to get the small perforations. With that, they are going to join each other. Next, we are going to move towards the xylem fibers. They are highly thickened walls and obtain central lumen. What we are going to go for now? Next point. After the tracheids, we are going to discuss regarding xylem fibers. Xylem fibers are highly thickened. These are highly thickened walls and obtain highly thickened walls and obtain central cavity or lumen. Central lumen. And these are either septate or aseptate. Xylem fibers are septate or aseptate. Septate or aseptate. SEPATATE. Septate or aseptate. These are SEPTAT or aseptate. Septate or aseptate. Okay. Then next, last xylem, parenchyma. In xylem parenchyma, the cells are living and inward, and their cell walls are made up of a cellulose. Cells are living and thin. Cells are living and thin, and their cell walls are made up of a cellulose. And their cell walls are made up of a cellulose. And they help in store the food materials in the form of starch and fat. These are stored the food materials in the form of starch and fat. Xylem parenchyma helps to store the food materials in the form of fat and fat and other substance like tannin. other substances like tannin also they are going to store, and they help radial conduction of water take place by the, and here the radial water conduction is take place by the, or radial water conduction is take place by the ray of parenchymatous cells. Ray of parenchymatous cells. Okay, this is about the what the thing regarding the elements of the xylem. One is tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. What is the difference here in the cells? Here also protoplasm is absent. Here also protoplasm is absent. In fibers, here also is made up of dead tissues, and all these are made up of a thick lignified walls. Here also you are going to get the thick lignified walls. Here also, and in xylem fibers also. But the difference here, when we are going to go for the xylem parenchyma, these are the living cells. Xylem parenchyma only the what element of a xylem, that is the living, it is made up of living cells and thin wall, and their cell walls are made up of a cellulose. This is very important for the 1 marks question or a competitive exam, right? So now we are studying regarding the elements of xylem. One is tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Now in xylem, the last point we are going to discuss, that is what next and last point, there are the xylem. In primary xylem we are going to get xylem in the sense what? Protoxylem and metaxylem. Protoxylem and metaxylem. Protoxylem and metaxylem. The primary xylem elements are called as a protoxylem, and later formed primary xylem is called as a metaxylem. Protoxylem in the sense primary, what we are going to call it as a first formed primary xylem. FIRST, first formed primary xylem is called protoxylem, is called as protoxylem, and later formed primary xylem is called as a metaxylem. Understood? Protoxylem is first formed primary xylem is called as a protoxylem, later formed, okay, later formed primary xylem is called as a metaxylem. In stem, protoxylem lies towards the center. In the sense, I am going to draw here stem. Stem na ಏನಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ, for example, if we are going to take a section in stem, protoxylem at center and metaxylem at periphery. Okay, so what I told you, in stem protoxylem lies towards the center, pith, and metaxylem lies towards the periphery. Here I used to write pith and this is periphery. Okay, it lies towards the periphery. Right? So periphery of the origin, and this type of primary xylem is called as an enlarged. This type of arrangement is called as a enlarged. Okay, what is the definition here? The protoxylem, in the sense, first formed primary xylem is towards the pith and metaxylem is towards the periphery, and such type of arrangement is called as an enlarged arrangement of a xylem, and this is found in a stem. What I told you, in a stem protoxylem lies towards the center and metaxylem lies towards the periphery. Such type of arrangement of xylem is called as endarch. And this is in stem. In stem. Understood? And the opposite of this is to write in a root. Root nani opposite bedibbi. Andre enga protoxylem lies towards the periphery and metaxylem lies towards the what? Periphery and metaxylem lies towards the center, and such type of arrangement is called as a exarch. EXARCH. The exarch definition very good. This is the homework for you. Exarch definition, how you are going to write? Exact opposite of this definition. Endarch to protoxylem lies towards the center and metaxylem lies towards the periphery. Okay, the type of arrangement is called as a endarch. You are going to reverse this in the sense like how you are going to write? Protoxylem lies towards the periphery, metaxylem lies towards the center, and this you used to write at home. That is the homework for you. What is that? Endarch. And endarch is exarch. Exarch is found in a root. Endarch is found in a what we are going to call that one as a stem. So this is about what today's class. In a complex tissue we are discussed regarding the xylem. Xylem is composed of 4 kinds of elements: tracheids, vessels. The next one is a xylem fiber, xylem parenchyma. Then we are studying here the primary xylem, protoxylem and metaxylem, and based upon their positions, endarch and exarch. Endarch is found in a stem, exarch is found in a root. Okay, I'll stop here and I will continue next in a next class.